The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that his AK party is pretty much on the brink of losing Sunday's mayoral elections in Istanbul and also in Ankara. But he's added that they remain the #1 party in Turkey. Erdogan has said that his party will appeal the results wherever needed, and has further added that he would take the necessary measures at ministries and institutions to make the system of governance more dynamic. Erdogan also announced that there would not be other elections for 4.5 years. The comedian with a popular anti-corruption message but no political experience is in fact leading the first round of the presidential elections in Ukraine. The 41-year-old actor who plays a fictional president in a popular television show has consistently led opinion polls. The actor has received about 30.4% of the votes, with current leader Petro Poroshenko in second position, having secured 17.8% of the votes. The protest hit Algeria has announced a new government headed by the recently appointed Radine Beidou. State television has reported that the armed forces chief Ahmed Ghaid Salah, who has called for Bouteflika to step down, remained as deputy defense minister. Algeria has been hit by a wave of violent protests, with the public demanding for President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's resignation. Bouteflika, who's rarely been seen in public since a 2013 stroke, has come under mounting pressure to quit power since his decision to seek a fifth term has sparked huge demonstrations. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has announced electricity rationing in Venezuela for about 30 days. The country is already grappling with a second power outage that has led to schools being shut down and also a chronic shortage of medical facilities in the country. Meanwhile, residents took to the streets of Venezuela's capital, Caracas, to denounce water and electricity shortages in the wake of 2 major blackouts this month. Protesters, in fact, blamed the government, while President Nicolas Maduro has blamed the opposition for the outages. Several residents also set up blockades on the streets to express their frustration with the government. And violent waves of protests continue in Nicaragua's capital. Protesters targeting the Nicaraguan president, Daniel Ortega, faced off with the riot police, leaving many injured. The protest organizers and witnesses told a news agency that some protesters who gathered at various points in the capital, Managua, were beaten and injured by the police. The protests in the Central American nation first erupted in April, when Ortega's latest leftist government had moved to reduce welfare benefits, but since then have been escalated into broader opposition to Ortega since April. More than 320 people have been killed. Hundreds are reportedly still detained in prisons. The Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is presently in Israel for a 3-day visit. On top of Bolsonaro's agenda is the decision on whether to move the Brazilian embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a move that he has repeatedly promised. Netanyahu has called Bolsonaro a good friend and has said that Israel and Brazil have entered a new era of relations. Bolsonaro, meanwhile, has opened his speech after landing in Israel with the words "I love Israel" in Hebrew, and has called on Netanyahu and has referred to him as an esteemed brother. The Arab League summit leaders are united in denouncing Trump's decision to recognize Golan Heights as Israel's territory. They've called the American policies as unfairly biased towards Israel. Now, the summit came in the backdrop of the ongoing wars in Syria and Yemen, amongst other issues. The United States' decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital last year was also condemned. US President Donald Trump and his administration have doubled down on threats to close the southern border with Mexico. This a day after it cut aid to the Central American nation that Trump has accused of deliberately sending migrants to the United States. Now, faced with a surge of asylum seekers from Central American nations who travel through Mexico, Trump has said that there was a good likelihood that he would close the border this coming week if Mexico does not stop unauthorized immigrants from reaching the United States. Some 2,000 people rallied in Rio de Janeiro to demonstrate against the 1964-85 dictatorship. This after the far-right president Jair Bolsonaro sparked widespread anger by ordering the defense forces to commemorate the overthrow of President João Goulart. Now, hundreds of protesters chanted "Dictatorship never again" and took to the streets of Brazil's capital for the 55th anniversary of the coup that established more than 2 decades of military rule.
Ele fez o que era o seu papel, normalizar a atividade dos professores.
The British lawmakers are all set to take one more attempt at an alternative plan before the 12th of April deadline to exit the European Union. The members of Parliament will have another go today to try and break the deadlock by voting on the 8 exit options that have been tabled in the Parliament. Meanwhile, Theresa May and her cabinet are also looking for ways to bring her exit deal back to the House for the 4th time. The Pope Francis has once again weighed in on the global migrant crisis. On his way back from Morocco, the Pope said that wealthy nations should in fact help eliminate the root causes of migration such as poverty, war and political instability. He's also added that migrants should be accepted, protected and integrated, and if a country cannot handle the numbers, then the migrants should be distributed amongst other nations. The police have arrested almost about 70 protesters who vandalized the European Commission building and smashed windows during a climate change demonstration in Brussels. The incident occurred during the Rise for Climate march, which was carried out to urge politicians to take action against climate change. Several masked protesters threw objects which smashed the windows as the march passed a European Commission building. Former US Vice President Joe Biden has rubbished allegations of having made an activist feel uncomfortable by kissing her at a campaign event in 2014. He said that he does not recall the incident in the same way as the accuser was alleging. The allegation was made in an online essay by a party activist who said that Biden touched her shoulders and also smelled her hair when they attended an event together, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. As Mozambique continues to struggle with the aftermath of Cyclone Idai, the Chinese government has sent a group of doctors to help fight the cholera outbreak. More than 271 cases of cholera have come to light after Cyclone Idai wreaked havoc in Mozambique. The World Health Organization has said that as many as about 900,000 cholera vaccine doses will arrive on Monday. More than 50 healthcare clinics have been destroyed in central Mozambique after it was hit by Cyclone Idai. Thousands of people from Spain's rural areas marched in central Madrid demanding better public services from the government. The Spanish government has been accused of treating people like second-class citizens. Over 50,000 protesters said that many villages and towns have not seen any improvement in infrastructure in the wake of the depopulation which happened when people moved to urban areas for jobs and better opportunities. A 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck 27 kilometers north of the city of Santa Elena on the coast of Ecuador. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck at a depth of almost about 18.5 kilometers. There were a number of aftershocks that were reported, with residents waiting on the streets as the tremors shook the city. And no significant damage or injuries were reported. One of Russia's richest women, the S7 Group co-owner Natalia Fileva, has reportedly died in a plane crash in Germany. The 55-year-old was on board a single-engine six-seater aircraft that crashed and then burned in a field as it approached a small airport in southwestern Germany. The German police have said that there appeared to be 3 people on board the plane, including the pilot of the flight, which originated in France. They also said that 2 passengers were believed to be Russian citizens. Without positive identification of the occupants, will require further investigation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin his election campaign in Maharashtra with public programs in the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. Prime Minister Modi will be addressing a public meeting at Wardha today and also will follow it up with a rally at Gondia on the 3rd of April. Alright, on to some Indian news now. And the Gujarat Congress in charge has floated a proposal for veteran party leader Ahmed Patel to contest from Bharuch. Ahmed Patel, who is known as the right-hand man of Sonia Gandhi, successfully contested the general elections from Bharuch in 1977, in 1980 and then again in 1984. He is currently a Rajya Sabha MP. A decision will be taken on the same today. Congress President Rahul Gandhi has promised the people of Andhra Pradesh that if his party is voted to power, the state will be granted special status. He said that he was surprised that political parties in the state were not aggressively pushing the central government to grant the special category status. He also said that former UPA government had promised to grant the status when the state was bifurcated 5 years ago. Elton John has joined George Clooney's call for the boycott of Brunei-owned hotels. Clooney, remember, has called for the boycott of 9 hotels in the United States and Europe with ties to the Sultan of Brunei, which from this month will be implementing the Islamic criminal laws to punish gay sex by stoning offenders to death. The 72-year-old singer and songwriter took to Twitter and said, "I commend my friend George Clooney for taking a stand against the anti-gay discrimination and bigotry taking place in the nation of Brunei, a place where gay people have been brutalized or worse by boycotting the Sultan's hotels." Hemingway had won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. He wrote some of his greatest books during the 21 years that he lived on the outskirts of Havana. The Restoration Center is located on the 15-acre property where Hemingway once lived in a tree-shaded, airy Spanish-style home. The writer left thousands of documents in Cuba, ranging from manuscripts of some of his works to letters as well as photographs and annotated books. The visitors continue to flock to China's Guangdong province for the annual cherry blossom sightings. The province houses the country's largest cherry blossom park and it holds the Cherry Blossom Festival every year. China has more than 6,000 hectares of cherry blossom trees grown across the country, and the industry employs almost about 400,000 farmers. A meteor lit up the skies of northern Florida. Local residents were in fact left surprised after a greenish-blue fireball seemed to plummet from the sky. A driver's dash cam captured the striking footage of a meteor falling over Gainesville, Florida. The National Weather Service has confirmed on Twitter that the meteor was in fact caught on its lighting mapper as well.